Men are born worthless and they have to earn their value. And women are born with value and they have to work hard to keep it and stay pure. I read something more or less along these lines this morning, and this is a theme that I have heard many times in the last few years since I've gotten really involved in polarity, especially. And it's time to talk about it. It's time to really discuss this myth, this made up, nonsensical belief that ends up hurting both men and women. There is some truth to it. I'm not saying that there's not some truth to this idea, but it's kind of toxic. It's really something that can, I believe, do a lot of damage to both men and women for different reasons. So I'm going to probably focus more on men on this one, but we'll probably get to both. We'll see how it goes for timing. So this idea that men are basically born worthless, like you're a man, you're not. So if you're born a man, you're basically not valued by society until you become a success, until you get your business way up there and make lots of money and, offer lots of mainly tangible value to society and to a woman and to a family and all of that stuff. Until then, you are worthless. Do you think that maybe having that belief might damage boys and men as they're growing up and trying to work out their life? Do you think that belief actually might keep them stuck in an idea that they have that they have little worth to anything? Like if I don't have a business, if I'm not tangibly successful, I'm basically worthless. That's going to screw men up. Now, I will tell you, right now, I am quite successful tangibly, or like the way that society measures success. I've got a business, make quite a bit of money, help a lot of people, got a lot of stuff, I guess, whatever stuff. But here's the thing. What's gotten me there, or a big part of what's gotten me there, is that I always believed that I'm intrinsically extremely worthy as a man, even if I have nothing, right? Like for a lot of my life, I would just go from basically cracked in to cracked in, living in the cheapest places possible. I lived below the poverty line by choice. And a lot of my pursuits, we'll call them, they're very intangible. Like I just wasn't focused on, I'm not saying this is what a man should do. Okay. There's actually a lot of problems with doing this. So I'm not promoting this in any way, just so you know. I'm just helping to explain what's going on here. I learned how to be very successful with women in that state, actually. And just socially as well. Like just people loved me. Women tended to love me. And I had no tangible success at all. Less than 99% of men in the Western world anyway. And the reason why I could have so much of that, we'll call it intangible success, is because I believed internally, of course I'm worthy. Of course, I'm amazing. Of course, I have tons of value. Not just to myself, but also to others. Sure, I wasn't focused on provision because I was stuck in being a Peter Pan mindset, never growing up. But, if we're talking as far as provision, there's a provision of just having a great energy that I'm offering a woman or anyone that I'm around. Providing amazing conversations, providing, just a good time, just being able to enjoy being in my presence, being able to have fun and interesting conversations, talking about interesting things, being able to give a woman an incredible experience no matter what we're doing. I could do that primarily because internally I believed, of course, I am worthy, just the way that I am. Like, it was never something that I doubted. And that became a stronger belief over time as I actually, did a lot of self-work. Now, you could take another man who tangibly, like, has the world, like multimillionaire, billionaire, super successful, has 8 businesses, has 20 houses, owns apartment complexes, offering tons of value to the world through their whatever they're producing. And yet they still deep down see themselves as worthless, or can only see their value through their external success that they have been able to create, right? And actually, kind of tragically, a lot of the value that they do create is all coming from a wound to try to be valuable in some kind of way, right? To try to run away from that emptiness inside of them, where they don't believe that they have any value unless they're a man in that way, right? And so this saying, this like idea that men are worthless, and basically, I'm putting my own spin on it, but basically the gist is that they're worthless and have to earn their value through all of the things that they are doing. No. Men, just like women, are intrinsically valuable. They are intrinsically worthy. No matter what their external circumstances, no matter what they've done or not done, you're intrinsically worthy, and you have to always start there. You cannot chase worth by trying to earn. Okay? So for me, this is a good, this may be very helpful for men if they're in that kind of situation. When I got married to my wife, I had very little money, and I had very little ambition, at least as it came to making money and being a financial provider and that stuff, because I was still stuck in the Peter Pan stuff. So very little that was going on for me in that way. Now, I don't recommend a man get married to a woman or even date a woman when he's in that situation, because it's not that has no worth. It's like, you're just putting a woman in a bad situation. Like, you should be able to take care of any woman if you really love her, right? You got to get that stuff handled. So I'm not promoting that. No. And then for a woman, like, I really don't recommend a woman get herself into that situation. Now, why did my wife get herself into that situation? Well, first of all, she was able to financially take care of herself. But then two, like, because, like, the primary reason is because I intrinsically believed I had so much worth. Like, that's something that a woman can feel, right? It's extremely attractive to a woman to be able to feel a man who just, like, not in an egotistical way, but just in a, a true self-worth way. I am worthy. I am truly valuable. I have so much to offer a woman, and it has nothing to do with financial stuff. That's hot, right? Now, ideally, a man also has a lot of financial stuff to provide a woman. That's how it should be. But it's not necessary for a man to be of value. So a woman is going to naturally feel that in her body. She's going to feel attraction to a man who knows his own self-worth. And that's going to be communicated through all of his communication, through his behaviors, through his beliefs, through everything. She's going to feel that. So, my wife felt that from me, and she's an extremely beautiful woman and has dated lots of. The funny thing, like, I was the least successful man she's ever dated financially, and she ends up marrying me. She's dated like tons of relatively wealthy men that have had their own businesses and all kinds of stuff. And there's a few things that were different with me. I think a pretty awesome personality in a lot of ways that, can be annoying as well, but a lot of great as far as personality. But the bigger thing is just that deep belief in myself. And guess what? The biggest thing that attracted me to my wife, even though she definitely had some issues in the femininity department, was I could just feel that self-worth on a level I just typically couldn't feel from women, even ones who seem much more, we'll call it like classically feminine. And that alone is, it's the number one thing. Like, it really is the number one thing. And so when you tell men that they're born worthless and have to earn their value, that keeps them stuck. And you don't have to tell like that exact phrase. It's just like that's a message that's given to men, to boys so much, that's very toxic. They are taught, I don't have value unless I do all this tangible stuff. Bad programming to give a child or to give an adult male. And then for women, same bad programming. Like, you're born with all this value, and literally all you can do is lose it now. You lose it with your age. You lose it, the older you get, you're losing value. If you sleep with a man who's not your husband, you're losing value. And it's not that there isn't some truth to that stuff. Like, just like with men, there's some truth. Like, obviously, yeah, having a successful business, that's going to add to your value. Sleeping with a bunch of men as a woman, yeah, that's not going to be the best for, your value. But it's going to hurt your value way more? Believing this stuff, actually internalizing it, actually believing, oh my God, I've slept with 10 men. Now I have no value. Oh my God, as a man, I don't have a successful business. I have no value. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because what gives you value more than anything else is believing on the deepest level that you do have value, that you're already worthy, that you're already good enough. Understand that? Talking about really important stuff here. Now, so, and by the way, just quick intermission. My Polarity Masterclass to create the relationship of your dreams, it's tomorrow, just over 24 hours. So before you finish this video, or when you finish it, go to polaritymasterclass.com and book your spot so that we can show you how to shift your self-worth by shifting how you communicate, by shifting how you show up. And shifting that self-worth is going to be ultimately what shifts your love life, whether you're single in a relationship, man or woman. All right, intermission over. So back to the self-worth thing. So I got into my marriage where I had basically nothing going on for me tangibly, not very much money, no ambition, really terrible resume. It's like I work at summer camps and I do medical guinea pig studies and random odd jobs and not much else. So I just didn't care at the time. So now I am a great provider for my family, for my wife and my daughter. And yes, provider in many different ways, but if we're looking at just financially, just through my success, yeah, I'm a great provider. And I other than if we're talking about fear, it's like I don't have the fear, even if I were to lose all of that, even if I were to go bankrupt, it's like I'm still super valuable to my wife and daughter because my value is primarily intrinsic. Now, I have the fear in the sense that I don't want to lose all of that stuff because I want to make sure that my wife and child are taken care of because I love them, because I want them to have the reasonably best life possible, where they can flourish in their feminine energy. But I'm not worried about it in any way in the sense that, like, from an ego perspective, where it's like, oh, I will lose value. No, because my confidence in myself is to my very core. The value that I hold as a man is not coming from needing to earn it. This is very unhealthy belief programming. And of course, this is a big part of what comes out of the red pill community. Okay. And for those that don't understand what I mean by the red pill community, it is there's many subsections to it. Like, it's a wide, you could call me being part of the red pill, right? Because it's, red pill, it's about like waking up. It's about finding the truth of how the world works and realizing that feminism is all nonsense and all of that stuff. It's just that within the red pill community, there is so much non-truth going on. There is so much garbage that is mixed in with the truth that is screwing men and women up and teaching men to be worthless, or sorry, teaching men that they are worthless without whatever tangible success, and that women are born with value and all they're going to do is lose it by sleeping with men and other like men and increasing their body count and getting older and all this stuff. While there is nuggets of truth to all of that. There is nuggets of truth to all of that that are important. I'm not saying they're not important. What I am saying is there is a much bigger truth that is being missed. And without that bigger truth, it's going to screw people up. It's going to screw men and women up. It is going to keep them from having truly healthy, successful relationships, not just with a partner, but more importantly with themselves. Right? Because you can't have a healthy relationship with yourself believing this nonsense. You just can't do it. So that is so much of what is being spread today. I'm the antidote to that because it's just like, it's obvious to me when I see this stuff. It's like, what is going on? And this is what, like, especially like younger generations, this is what they're being indoctrinated into. It's going to be I mean, I guess it's always been a screwed up world for a long time, but it's just like, it's a new generation of screwed up. I don't know. And that of course, and every generation thinks like, oh, I found the truth. Right? Whether it's like the generation of feminists or the generation of red pill, and the next one, whatever. It's just screwing up. It screws up everything. So you got to understand nuance. Okay. If you don't understand the nuance, you're in for hell, which again, that's why the polaritymasterclass.com, doing my 2-hour masterclass and learning how to communicate this way, you're going to learn a lot of nuance to actually shift out of your unhealthy patterns. Yeah, relief that this title is clickbait. I'm just going to read some of these comments here. Really enjoying this video. Fantastic. You're definitely the antidote to this red pill nonsense. Absolutely. What turned you from Peter Pan to how you are today? So what turned me on to that was, first of all, it's a good opportunity if you have not read, anyone watching this, if you haven't read my books, go to my website, relationshipofyourdreams.com. My website, or my books are there. I'll take you to Amazon. I do outline what happened in, well, especially one of my books, Irresistibly Feminine. That was my first one. What changed me, I got lucky, could call it luck, in a twisted, tragic kind of way. I had a son. My wife and I had a son. He was born with brain damage and genetic disorder and all kinds of problems. He's stuck in sick kids. Died 6 months into his life, and instantly it was like, the moment that he was born, I changed as a man, and there's just no going back. He acted, and a big part of it was that he was born under such like traumatic, emergency C-section, like, hard to talk about. My masculine instinct to protect came fully online to take care of him. Prior to that, even in the 3 years of our marriage, my focus was taking care of myself. It's just loving myself. Didn't mean that I didn't love my wife. Of course I loved her, but it was in a more selfish way. It was in a way where it's like we're best friends and we're here to just like have fun with each other. What woke up in me was this desire to take care of others, especially my son, but also my wife, and also just the world. Eventually my clients, family, anyone that's under my care. And that's what's missing for a lot of men today. A lot of that is because of self-worth issues. A lot of men are actually in that role because of their lack of self-worth issues, where it's like, but it's done from an ego place, like to feel worthy. So it's all really actually just done for them rather than it being done for others. Like, I don't need to take care of anyone to feel like good about myself in an ego sense, because I already feel fully worthy. I need to take care of others because it's how I'm designed as a man. It's to protect and provide for those I care about. So that was suppressed. That was suppressed in me my whole life, and I didn't realize it. It was coming from a wound. It's coming from a wound, a self-protection wound, where if I were to put energy into others, would there be enough energy left for me? So that's a really early childhood wound that I had to move through. And this is why polarity is amazing, because I didn't know about polarity before any of this. And when you don't know about polarity, it's very easy to stay stuck in your wounds. For many people, they just stay stuck in them forever. I say I got lucky. It's a hard one to stay together with. I say I got lucky because despite what happened, it got me fully in touch with myself and allowed me to figure all this out and help others. So what learning this polarized communication does, and like these shifts, is it allows people to face these wounds. Like for me, it's like I got lucky in the sense that I was just face to face with it, and I just woke up instantly. I still had to do a lot of work, right? It's not like, ooh, I'm now this dominant man that is emotionally centered and all this stuff. No, I still had to do a lot of work, and almost got divorced a couple of times in my marriage, and it was a big mess. It was not easy to shift, and it's not going to be easy for anybody to shift. Right? It's typically why I recommend people get a lot of support with making these shifts. Start with my book, start with my masterclass, and then if you want to make this a lot easier on yourself, work with us in our academy program where we practice these shifts every day. We practice this communication stuff with our clients and coaches every day. But at least the books and masterclass, so that you have like a framework of where to go, right? Most people are just lost. They don't even know what they're doing. Their wounds are just leading them all the time. You don't have to do that, right? You can make your life so much easier just by getting the books and the masterclass. And then it's like, okay, at least now you know a lot of what you're doing wrong, a lot of what you need to do right, kind of what the right stuff looks like. And then, of course, it'll still be really challenging to implement everything, but you're now wasting way less time just doing everything wrong. But by learning about polarity, and so like the masculine and feminine communication, for example, which is what a big part of the focus on our masterclass and the books. It's like, just as an example, like for women, learning how to share their feelings vulnerably, right? You know, like if she's feeling sad or feeling anger or fear or whatever, learning how to do that in a way that actually inspires a man to want to take care of her and give her a hug, you know, provide for her, improve himself to be safer for her and be a better man. Like when my wife has been vulnerable with me, even if I've been like kind of selfish and whatever, and then my wife shifts it into being vulnerable, it's like, oh my God, I just want to be better for you. I just want to take care of you. I just want to protect your heart, right? But by her being vulnerable, by her learning what vulnerability actually looks like, as opposed to what many people believe it looks like, and even what many coaches are teaching it looks like, which is not really that vulnerable, and it's not very inspiring to men. By doing that, she has to shift into letting go of control. She has to shift into energetically opening up and being receptive, not leading. And that is what heals, right? That is what heals her. She's now face to face with those wounds that she's been running on unconsciously her whole life. Or with a man, it's like my Peter Pan syndrome stuff that my son totally shifted me out of. Well, part of the whole pattern for me was not only would I be more focused selfishly on myself, but I also had a thing where I had felt this burden. It's like I didn't want to give too much. I didn't want to give too much to others because I didn't want to drain myself and not have enough to take care of myself. But then at the same time, I didn't want to really step up into leading. I did do some of it because I learned pickup and everything. And so I knew a good amount of how to lead, but it never came fully from the right place. Where it's like, I just want to provide and take care of you. So there was a resistance there because I didn't want to burden others by like imposing my wishes and desires, wants, needs onto a woman. There's a wrongness feeling there. So it's like, I'm just Peter Pan. I'm not really doing much leading and I'm not really doing much taking care of. Those go hand in hand. So for a man to move through his wounds, what he has to do, he has to start leading, which means ideally he starts learning masculine communication, which is what we teach on the masterclass, of course, polaritymasterclass.com. And then he comes face to face with those wounds, right? He comes face to face with the discomfort. He comes face to face with his own reactivity, with his own avoidance stuff, his own fears. And then he heals. So if a man, you know, for many of you, like we'll say a lot of my audience, their instincts are already relatively quite online compared to the general population, right? Like the general population of, you know, feminists and, you know, like yes men guys and pickup artist, Playboy, Peter Pans, right? Their instincts are not fully online. And for many, their instincts are completely offline. For my audience, we got a lot of people, their instincts are online because otherwise my message wouldn't really resonate, right? Most people whose instincts are just totally offline, they're just going to trigger away. They're just not, it's like, this guy's crazy. Like when I was on TikTok before I got banned twice, there's all those woke people, instincts completely suppressed, covered up by nonsensical beliefs that are keeping them completely stuck. With you guys, most people listening to this, your instincts are already somewhat online. For some of you, like your instincts are 100% online. And the problem is, like this is an additional problem. If your instincts are online, but you don't know how to show up as a woman in a truly feminine way using feminine communication, or as a man fully using masculine communication and fully leading and knowing how to be in that role, it's going to be really painful for you. Because like your instincts are online, which means that your needs are very much online, like a woman's need to be provided for and cherished and held and kept safe and all of this stuff. But you're not able to get it. because you don't know how to meet a man's need by truly being in your feminine. And then the same for a man, right? It's like, you need respect. You need to be received by a woman. You need to be trusted, but you don't know how to show up in a way where a woman can fully just let go with you and fully respect you, specifically high self-worth women, right? Like, not because doormats who are just avoidant, you know, they might appear feminine, but it's like, you're not very attracted to them. It's the problem with that. So I'm talking high self-worth woman who's in her feminine self-worth, who is fully trusting you and following you, and it's a full yes to you every thing that you do. If you don't know how to step up as a leader, if you don't know masculine communication, you're not going to get that. It sucks. And not having your needs met is really painful. It's a really unpleasant experience. And so it's actually better in many ways to have your needs suppressed, for your needs to be totally offline, because then you don't feel all that pain. Once they come online, the pain's there. So once my pain came, I mean, this could have been a separate video, but with needs, but it's really important. Once my needs came fully online, it was really painful for my wife not to be fully respecting me. All the stuff that was happening prior in the relationship that was tolerable, instantly intolerable, could never go back. So it's like, there was no going back for me. It's like, you know, I jumped off the ship, or it's an analogy. It's like, now I got to swim to shore, wherever that is, to utopia, to polarity utopia. I didn't have my books, didn't have the academy, didn't have the Relationship Your Dreams Masterclass to do it all. And it was hell. It was way, way, way longer than it ever needed to be, and way more painful than it ever needed to be. I want to make that journey a lot easier for you, a lot more fun. Whether you're single or in a relationship, you know, this will help you get into a relationship if you're not in one, or if you're in a relationship, it will help you make your relationship way, way better. If your relationship's a disaster, well, it'll help you solve those problems. If it's already relatively okay, it'll make it a lot better, with a lot more connection and a lot more attraction. That's what I'm here to do for you. So, polaritymasterclass.com. Before we wrap up, book your spot. It is happening tomorrow. If you're watching this video now, it's happening tomorrow. It's your last chance to sign up, and we will have 2 hours of fun, and I will be showing you how to shift how you communicate, shift how you show up to meet a partner's needs, how to create that irresistible attraction, and you know, for a man, command a woman's respect, where she just respects the crap out of you. Or as a woman, inspire a man to want to take care of you, cherish you, make you feel special. Oh, and it's Valentine's Day today too. Just remembered that. You know, make you feel very special on Valentine's Day. Got to talk to my wife. She's gone at the moment. Good thing I remembered. And yeah, so let's make it easy for you. Go to polaritymasterclass.com, sign up. Best $47 of your life you'll ever spend, and you'll be light years ahead of the vast majority of the population who don't know how to make these shifts. See you there.